I think you're ready, right?
Yeah,
So,
I'm ready.
okay. Okay, let me kick this off. So, good morning, everyone. It's great to see you all here for our latest Sitecore user group meetup in Jaipur. Today, we are excited and honored to have Freddy with us. He is working as a senior backend developer at Ocean and a Sitecore Technology MVP. In today's session, we are hoping to learn more about webhooks in XM Cloud. So, I would like to hand over the session to Freddy, and you may begin your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Samit. Thank you, everyone, to being here. Today, I'm going to talk about webhooks in XM Cloud. Sorry, uh, I'm going to talk about with of webhooks in XM Cloud, and I'm going to explain what are they, what they do, what can we do with those, and a, a small demo to show you. Right, I was in the presentation, so let me share again. Now, okay, we are going to present myself. As Sumit says, I'm Freddy. I work here in Quito, Ecuador, in South America for Ocean Inc. I am senior backend developer, and I work in Psychor almost 3 years, and I've been working in Psychor XP, XM, and also in XM Cloud, and another products like CDP, uh, personalize, and and I will start, and I want to start to work in search to understand how it works. I am Psycho certified in some products, and I am a Psycho MVP in technology. Okay, there you have my LinkedIn, my mail, my social media in case you want to contact me after. What we are going to talk about today is what is a why XM Cloud. I am going to explain a little bit what is XM Cloud and why to work with it. What are webhooks? The main topic of today. Types of webhooks. What type of webhooks do we have? As I mentioned before, I'm going to create a webhook in a demo and show you what it do. I'm going to log an entry in a text file just for um, for demonstration purposes. And as a bonus track, I'm going to talk about GraphQL mutations and how we can use it with webhooks and how to exploit that capability. Okay, so why XM Cloud? XM Cloud is new product. We can say that Psycore. Uh, Remember that XPXM is on the market already 20 years, but XM Cloud is already 2 years, or more or less. And this product is the star now of the marketing strategy in Psycore with this composable strategy and with this capability of software as a service. So XM Cloud is the core of all the products that now in the DXP experience we have in the cloud with Psycore. It's a native CMS from Psycore and has all the things that XPXM could could um, give us, right? But in a cloud environment, in as a software as a service. It with XM Cloud we can work with this concept of headless. What is headless? It's a way to separate the content, what the marketers create from the presentation, from it means that we have the opportunity or the capability to make things for multi-channel and multi-device uh, without any effort or without any extra effort. As headless shows the the content in an API, we can we can consume it from anywhere that we want. As example, from website, SPA pages, from cell phones, from apps, wearables, even the glasses, the VR glasses and kiosks, whatever, because that's the power of the headless. We divide the content from the presentation and we can do anything we want. When I worked in XM Cloud, comparing with another type of programming of developing or making projects, it's really gain in the time to market. So we won a lot of time in giving to the customer results. So creation of content is really quickly here, and the projects are really quickly compared for another approaches. And what about the credibility? Exemplar House has been grown in these 2 years exponentially. It started as a child and now it's an adult or is a mature product. Cycle is investing a lot of time enhancing a lot of functionality here. If you can see the XM Cloud log, what Cycle has released in this year, and it is amazing. The rich text editor, for example, and in the first versions of XM Cloud, we don't have such a robustness in the rich editor, but now we have it. And also, XM Cloud has become the most or the fastest selling new product in Cycle's history. That is very interesting because when XM Cloud was born or was released to the market, this is the product that Cycore started to sell faster, and the customers started um, to see in XM Cloud a very good option. And also, it has been named as a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant in its category. So as you see here, it is the core of all these all these products, all these suite of Cycle products in the DXP experience. Right? Now, the main topic of today is the webhooks. So what are they? What we can do with it? How we can work with? Webhooks help us to trigger some actions automatically on a system. You can call a webhook and you can enhance some functionality that you want. Uh, with webhooks, we can send real-time notifications and events, and we can also communicate with another applications. It triggers, for example, notifications. We can do some actions, take some actions when a user do something with an item in Cycle, and we can send via webhooks whatever we want. And we can do external validations with webhooks. For example, if you have a system in your company that validates anything, a creation of product, a creation of a user, or selling whatever you want, and that system has to approve something, you can be a webhook, connect to that system. This system validate the data and returns uh, an approval or a rejection. And with Webhooks, we can take that approval or rejection and do something in our side, in our backend. And with XM Cloud, we can send events detail in HTTP post request to a specified endpoint. So we can send all the information of the items in Sitecore via webhook, and in the other side, in the endpoint, we can take that and do anything we want, read it, transform it, or just record it. That's that's what webhooks are. Um, Continue with this. This is an important thing that Sitecore is always telling us in XM Cloud. Customizations on XM Cloud are allowed or not allowed. We know that technically, if we go uh, deep in the code or in the product as any other application, we can do some customizations, but they are not recommended. Sitecore doesn't recommend any customization in XM Cloud because uh, after a new release of XM Cloud, all those customizations be erased. So that's not the sense of an software as a service product, right? You just you just consume a service and you get what that service gives. So customizations are not allowed. And that's where webhooks are good because we can extend via webhooks many things that we don't have in Cycle, XM Cloud. First, the example that I gave before, we cannot connect directly the XM Cloud or program the XM Cloud, a method or a class that connects to an external API and send a request and get the response, and then in XM Cloud program that result. That's what webhooks are for. So remember that no customizations, instead of use webhooks. What what type of webhooks do we have? We have three types of webhooks, right? We have the event handler webhook, the submit action webhook, and the validation action webhook. With the event handler webhook, we have supported system event information. It means that we can manage a lot of events inside the CMS to send it to a webhook. Let's say creation of items, updating items, updating versions, create versions. There's a big to of list of events to handle with webhooks. That's what webhook event handler it is. The webhook submit action. This it is raised when an item changes in a workflow. It changes its state. We we know that we can set workflows in Sitecore to approving content. So, for example, if the final in the final step to submit, we can call a webhook, and we can, with that information, maybe create a log or call another system or do whatever we want. And the third one, we can connect to a third party vendor and get some approval. If that system doesn't approve uh, the things, the webhook cannot complete the process. So that's what webhook validations action are for. This is the only one webhook that can receive data. So you can, via this webhook, receive a small response, status, and a message. status could be okay or approved or reject, and the message. So we can get that simple information and continue doing something in our side. Mm, So this is or the of the these are of the types of webhooks, right? What else do we have? As I mentioned, I'm going to talk about or show you also some mutations. But what are mutations in GraphQL? GraphQL is inside XM Cloud as a native functionality to get some data. And we have now GraphQL to retrieve the most of the data for the components or the items that we have before in XP. For example, you remember the get children method in XMXP. Now we use GraphQL to retrieve all this data. And what if we want to modify data on the server or on the items? That's where mutations appear. So GraphQL plus modify data in the server, they are mutations. Basically, we can create, modify, or do something in the server, in the workflows, in the users. There's a lot of things that we can do with mutations, and we are going to see a small sample of creation of updating an item. So it's time to demo. Okay, let's stop this. Okay, uh, let's start. Here we have the portal in a cycle portal. Using in, and you have all these products in the DXP suite, right? So I have here the XM Cloud. I'm going to the content editor, and where webhooks are. This okay, yeah. Webhooks are here in system webhooks, and we can see here this web. If I create one, we can insert a webhook event handler, give a name. Okay, put a simple description. And here we have the events that we can manage. As we can see, this opens quickly. Okay, we can manage, for example, when an item is added, cloned, copied, deleted, locked, moved, renamed, saved, sorted, unlocked, when a version is added and removed, and also for publish publish events. So, and easily we can, for example, create a webhook that I want to raise when an item is added. So here we have also rules. We can create rules. We can create a lot of webhooks for different templates and so on. For example, a template, okay, where the item template is a specific template. So I can here I, I don't know if it's my connection, but it's quite slow. Okay, meanwhile this happened, I have here created, no, and this is my local. Okay, I have here. I can for them move custom, for example, a candidate. I'm going to write this event or this webhook when the template is candidate. I enable the webhook and I set here the URL of the endpoint that we want to call. In this case, I have this this simple API locally, and I created a tunnel with ngrok, and I'm going to put here this. Okay, I set the URL and the endpoint. Okay, here we have the authorization field. In this case, I don't have authorization. My API is a simple API, but you can here create and the authorization type of your endpoint. There is normally an API has an authorization, so you can set this here. But how we can set this? We can set this. Let's say this. We have here in settings, webhooks, authorizations. We have the type of authorizations we want, and you pick and set here the parameters of that authorization, and then you can set it here. Okay. And we have also this type of authorization. No, sorry, this type of serialization. We can send a info via JSON or via XML. Normally, I think that today most of the APIs get JSON structure, but if we work with a SOAP protocol, we can send an XML structure also. Yeah, so that's how we can set the webhook, right? And basically, it is already set. And if I go to any item, for example, let's say I change this status to okay, just text, and we can say the webhook should should run, right? And how how we know that it runs? I have here my API. Yeah, I have here my API, and if I save it in, okay, and I save, you see the API was called, and here we have all the information of the item. So here what I'm doing is just login, and if I open the logs, here we have the what the webhook do in this case. So we can also create another or change. Let's change this 700 when not item saved. Let's say it item created is created or added. I think it's added. Okay, that. And if I add here a candidate, not a page, a candidate, yeah, it creates, and you see the webhook is raised. And this is amazing because you have all the information here and you can do whatever you want. For example, create a log for know who creates that item. Y- We know that Cycle has a lot of logs, but if you can personalize or customize an own log, you can do this. And that's the easy part of webhooks. Let's see another example. I have here uh, an event for the submit action webhook. Remember that in submit action webhooks work in workflows, right? So I have set here. I have here. We can go to the workflows, and in the workflow you want, you can add uh, a webhook. So in this case, I have I have enabled the submit action when it's submit. So for the recently created item, okay, if I going to view it, here we have the submit. If I click it, I have a comment. Ah, sorry. Yeah, you see, this submit action method is called, and it also login information. And that's how webhooks work. So, and how do I work locally? I have a blog explaining this, but if you want to connect from Cycor XM Cloud to your local, you have to expose it publicly, and that's what uh, ngrok is for, right? So I create a tunnel uh, for my local host. That is my API running here. So I created that tunnel, and that's how from the cloud here, the XM cloud, the Cycor cloud, eh, they call or it goes to my computer via ngrok. So basically, this is the easy part or the first part of how to how to work with webhooks. And what else I have here to show? Um, I created in .NET my API, but you can create also in your XM Cloud project an API that can be called for a webhook. If you want to, for example, um, update or query any other thing with a webhook inside your XM Cloud solution. Let's say you want to customize that when a webhook is called, an item um, needs to change or needs to be updated, and that's where mutations here. So what are mutations? As I mentioned before, and the way of via GraphQL update some items. So if you when you have set your local or not local environment in XM Cloud, you can go to this IDE and set a mutation. I I have created this mutation with this information, and I'm going to create this item, this called mutation sample, and with this content, right? These two fields. This is going to be created in my local because now I am working in my local for demo purposes. So where is my local? Here. Here is my local. Let me check if the if the credentials on the session is not dead. No, I think it's not dead. So we have here these items. If I run this, let's run it. Okay, you see this item, I did change it. And if I refresh this, it should appear here. If not, what? Ah, sorry. If here is our item created by a mutation. So basically, if you have worked with GraphQL before, you know that we can do a lot of things for search for querying, but not many people have worked with or not necessary to work with mutations in all the projects for specific purposes, but we can. And here I have demonstrated this. And also we can do an update, for example. Okay, I have here this item. If I am not wrong, this is the okay. The title: Welcome to Cycle updated by API in Jaipur. Okay, updated. We can change sorry, here. Change this text. Yes, okay. You see, it's immediately. Check this, and here we have the mutation executed. All the information of mutations we have here, so we can do all of these things. We can also queries with mutations, but some, as you see, are information of the server, the domains, the indexes, templates, the languages. It's not it's not as for items that for the queries are the other queries. And here we have the mutations. We can do all of these things with mutations. Add accounts, add languages, archive items, like archive versions, copy items, clone sites. So you see, this is for management, for management the site or our server, right? Creation of roles, and here we have creation of items, publication of items, deletion, and so on. But that this is information in the server. So this is a huge thing that we can do. I also create a blog for this. If you can check it, it explains this in a more detailed way. But uh, for me, this is amazing because you can do anything. And an extra an extra thing that I did here is I created this mutation in API inside my XM Cloud. So here I have the instance XM Cloud instance running locally in the APIs folder, page folder. I create this item service, and I create the same as we did here, the same this, but here in XM Cloud in the Next.js, right? So this is exposed. This is exposed, and Here we have the query, the connection for the client, and here we have the authorization information. For demo purposes, right? I put here in one item for just for demo purposes. You have to handle this in the config files with the security of those tokens, uh, separately the things of the connection or something like that, right? But just for this time, I did yesterday this class or this method to show you, and I'm going to update text. It's updated by APIs and stuff Jaipur, and this is the item. It's the same item, right? That I have here. So if I run this API from a postman here, I I send a request. It returns what I put there, and it should be updated. Yes, here you see the mutations are running. Good. And how we can set it in a webhook? What we can do? Let's here in my webhook action 7 handler. I'm going to add uh, call for. I have here the call for this API. I'm going to do what I did in Postman from the webhook. We can call the webhook directly to this method, but as my own local, I have to publish it and I have to set up more things for security and that thing to let XMCloud connect to this other API. I did the webhook, the another API to call this API just for them. So let's say let's add here this. Let's call this method here. Okay, for doing that. Okay, sorry. Let's put here this code. So here I'm creating the class. I'm calling this method. Okay, and let's rebuild this. Wait a second. Okay, I have here again, and let's change this. Let's raise this. And if I if I send my webhook from the XM class, right, I'm going to update this. Update. Okay. And it is supposed to call here and update this one. If not, something's wrong with here. I don't know what happened. Maybe that. Okay, I think something happened here. But the idea is that call from here to this another API and run this part like I did in Postman, right? Yeah. there is the updated content. So basically, that's what we have today to explain about mutations, explain about webhooks. Uh, I think we can we can continue with the questions if you have. Here we have some links of interest. You can visit my blog, and I have some webhooks blogs, and the last one I did a couple of weeks ago related to mutations. And I think that's it, my friends. Thank you. Thank you for letting me show you this for you.
Thanks, Freddy. And if you have any question, you can ask or you can also mention in the chat.
Hey, hi, Freddy. Thanks for the great presentation. Just a basic question, as we need, I guess, multiple configuration in dealing with all this stuff. So, do you want to share anything related to configuration miss that usually people do, and that we need to take care of?
Configurations for using webhooks or for mutations.
Yeah, it's like whatever we have seen in this demo, right? So from your
Mm,
local NG-Rock stuff and when we need should use that or kind of those things, maybe some basic thing.
okay, yeah, good question. Sorry if I went too fast, but let's start. For mutations, for example, you can you can have here, or you have here, sorry, the, the configuration for authorization to the authoring API in XMCloud. Normally, normally people work with this type of authorizations. Yeah, the API key that XMCloud gives us is just for querying, just for querying. But if we want to do mutations, we can set an authorization token. Here, this authorization token is in our XMCloud code in the user JSON file. As you see, I have copied this. This in this part, when you log in XMCloud, each time you log, this tokens changes. So, if for example, if you receive some kind of that's some kind of messages like this, the current is not authorized to access this resource. This is something that it's not authenticated or it's expired. So we can change this token. We can log in again and change this token, and we can run this API again, right? And ah, I run it. This it's a creation one. This it says that it's already there. And that kind of configurations, you have to check it to run authorizations in your local, and also to set it in your code, as I did here. Here, as I did here, I put the same token and I call this. But this is not the right way, just for configuration and demonstration purposes, right? Normally, we have to set it in the config files here. If you use the XM Cloud Foundation head, this is all set. You just have to add in the environment file all the things that you want. And for webhooks, configuration for webhooks exactly is just set the right URL here of the endpoint and enabling this. If this is not enabled, the webhook won't run. And also the rules, things that happened to me when I started this, I set here this, and I was clicking adding, doing something, and the webhook doesn't run. So I was just scratching my head. And I realized that the rule was not set. So you have to set wisely the rule in what item and what template you want to work and what template you want to send the webhook. And that's it. No more configurations here.
Thank you.
Another maybe another one is not configuration. The ngrok thing that I mentioned before is this right. So we can create. You can install ngrok in your machine and run this command. So here I'm opening a tunnel to my log. Right. That's it. And this domain always change, so you have to copy and set it in your webhook each time. Here,
So, like,
if
if we don't have a Sitecore instance on a local and we are running that in the connected environment, in that case, do we need this local setup with ngrok?
in Grok in a local, maybe no. If you're this works also for XM instance. So if you have an XM local instance and you call this webhooks, you can set locally to your own endpoints. And what we need to assure is that this instance, CMS instance, read the endpoint. In this case, as am I in the cloud, I have to the open the tunnel to come to my log, and
Okay.
that's why I did it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Riku.
Okay, so
No,
yeah, please go ahead.
no. Another question is I'm going to
Yeah,
say.
that was I'm talking about. So we don't have any question in the chat as well. Okay, so I guess we can wrap it up. Thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate your participation and engagement in the Sitecore User Group Jaipur. And a special thanks to Freddy for sharing his valuable insights with us. We hope you found this session inspiring and informative. And looking forward to see you at the next gathering of Sitecore User Group Jaipur. Thank you so much again, and thanks, Freddy.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks, Riku. Thanks, everyone, to be here. I'm very honored to talk with you in the other
Same
side
here.
of the world.
Thanks, Freddy, for your time.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
You have a
Bye.
great day. Bye.